a sailboat in the moonlight and you. Wouldn't that be heaven? Oh, heaven just for two. A soft breeze on a June night and you. What a perfect setting for letting dreams come true.
Okay, I want you all to approach this with an open mind, okay? Now, not everybody's going to be in a fiberglass sailboat. This one is different, but it's durable, and it's gone to the Bahamas twice, so I suspect it probably is capable as well. So keep your minds open. It's a little bit rough on the outside, and I've not yet seen the inside, but we're going to have a look today at an HO28. Look at that. The HO28 was designed by the Dutch marine architect Herman Oldenburger. The Netherlands have long been known for durable, practical steel sailing vessels. The HO28 gained favor in Canada as a cheap, good-looking, tough little boat that could take whatever the Great Lakes could throw at her. My Life has served her owner well. In 2006, he sailed her with a friend to the Bahamas and back. 2 years later, he did it all over again. Her 3'6" draft was perfect for the shallow waters there, and her heavy displacement and bulletproof hull kept him safe and dry on the long voyages. Well, I told you to have an open mind. So, anyway, this boat comes from an era when the DIY boat building thing was just booming, and there were lots of designers who were designing boats that people could construct in their backyards. Now, don't forget, back then, Lynn and Larry Pardey were out on the water. They had built 2 wooden boats in a row. Their books were sort of the defining literature on striking out and sort of post-hippie era take off and go and see the world. And many builders came up with designs that could be built at home. You could go out and buy a West Sail hull and deck, and you could build that at home. You could buy, anyway, there's just a myriad of builders that did this. And you could buy the hulls and the decks and kits to finish your own boat at home. Some people chose to go with steel because steel does have some obvious advantages, and one of them being that it's pretty easy for people to pick up a welder and do things at home. Today, that's evidenced by YouTube channels like SB Seeker, where he's built an entire vessel, a ship really, in his backyard, just using common everyday stuff.
Hi, my name is Doug. Welcome to SV Seeker, Sailing Vessel Seeker. She's a 74-foot long, steel-hulled, twin-keeled, 3-masted Chinese junk-rigged motor sailor, built from scratch right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
This boat is from that school of thought, So you can imagine that somebody's bought this as a kit. They've added a lot of their own furnishings to it. They've added a lot of their own style to it. Frankly, it's pretty rough right now. But whoever was to pick this up would be picking up, basically, you'd be further down the line than the guy who bought it initially. Because it wouldn't just be an empty hull and deck. It's got an engine and a functioning engine. It's got an oven. It's been wired. There's a sound system on board. There's a table. The furniture's roughed in. You're going to need new fabrics. It's going to need a good coat of paint or shellac. It's going to need a little bit of woodwork. But this boat has been only recently It's been to the Bahamas and back twice. So it's certainly a capable vessel. There's a fair bit you'd have to do to get it ready to go again. But you can buy it cheap enough that, you know, and do it really with just kind of Home Depot supplies. You could be ready to go in a summer, I would guess. It comes with a cradle. It comes with a diesel Herman engine in it. Apparently the engine's running, but by the looks of the rest of it, it's going to need some work. It looks like there's been a mouse or two in here. The foam is probably getting a little long on the tooth as well, so you're going to have to put new fabrics and new cushions, that kind of stuff, homemade stuff. You're going to need to get your plane out and tweak the woodwork a little bit, although it does seem, you know, okay. The finishes are all right, kind of homemade, but all right. There is a furler with it, but I noticed it is broken. There is a mast and rig with it. Apparently there are sails. I've not seen the sails, but I can imagine they're probably fairly old. So that's what we're looking at. I just wanted to show you this kind of boat. It is another option for people if you don't want to get into buying a fiberglass boat and rigging it with expensive store-bought fiberglass goods, you know. I mean, having to do it up like a new yacht again. You can buy something like this and go on the cheap side. So here's an option for you. My Life has had her bottom replated. She originally was driven by an outboard, but the owner added a diesel inboard for this second trip south. Her ballast is poured concrete, and she's a stiff and stable sailor. She is definitely in need of work, but the repairs are pretty simple on this rudimentary little workboat. The HO-28 hits the mark for the handy adventurer who wants a boat that can take a beating. Her head, holding tank, pressurized water, propane stove and oven, dinghy and diesel engine are a great start for a DIY build that can take a new owner just about anywhere. A steel boat offers some practical advantages to the voyaging sailor. Steel and welding supplies are readily available just about anywhere in the world. The hull is able to take a hard grounding. Scuffs and dings are easily repaired. Chain plates, railings, and stanchions can be welded in place, eliminating bothersome leaks in the deck, keeping things nice and dry down below. Now, My Life is not quite ready to launch. She'll be in need of some refitting before she hits the high seas again. If you have some basic woodworking and welding skills, this might just be the boat for you. The owner's ready to move on and is open to offers. Do you see a steel boat in your future?
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba.